So today, as the title suggests, I'll be talking about Fiji water. And I actually have a bottle here. And I was at the airport, JFK Airport to be exact. And the terminal where I was at, the only water they sold was Fiji water. And as most of you know, it's the most expensive water, but there was no water fountain or anything because it was basically a terminal that looked like a basement. It was really weird. So I had no choice but to buy it. And as much as I love the design and the bottle for me, it tastes like every other water. Note in here is tap water, not Fiji water. Anyway, so I decided to do a little research on Fiji water, and this video is basically what I've come up with. So basically, Fiji water, as you might have guessed, is from Fiji, and you probably knew or at least assumed that Fiji water is Fiji's main export. It is 20% of Fiji's export, I believe, and which is great, right? But did you also know that 53% of Fiji's population, that's over half, don't have access to clean water? And so is it fair that we're exporting their clean drinking water, so like over half the world, just so we can have expensive, pretty looking water bottles? I mean, half these people go to bed every night thirsty or sick because they drank dirty water. And here we are paying like $5 for a bottle like this. Actually, I paid like $8 for this bottle of water that tastes like any water you can buy in America. All you're doing is paying for the name and the fact that it is shipped halfway across the world just so you can drink it. I mean, sure, the water comes from an aquifer, meaning that it's contained inside a permeable rock, and I just think you could at least share it with the people of Fiji rather than exporting it to America where, you have your own springs and stuff like that. You can even drink America's tap water. Sure, it might not taste as good as Fiji's water, but it's not going to make you sick. I don't know what everyone's obsession is with drinking bottled water. I mean, here I have a beautiful sink beneath the smaller window, and I live in the mountains in Switzerland, so it's kind of different. I get fresh glacier water directly through my tap, and it tastes way better, in my opinion, than bottled Fiji water. Also, you have to realize that any bottled water, you will get plastic, I think it's called like plasticine, inside your water, and that's not good for you. So if you do buy water, buy in glass bottles because it is better for you. But that is not my point. So, Fiji water is bad because of the massive energy costs and the plastic waste produced, and because of shipping it thousands of miles just so people all around the world can have Fiji water, and because the Fiji, like the people who own this, they interact with the unelected military regime in Fiji, and they came to power in 2006, and it's just really stupid because they only use them so that they continue doing this and be at peace, and meanwhile nobody really wants them to be in charge. So I mean those are some pretty bad things. Like, there's other bad reasons, but the company argues that it is 20% of Fiji's export, 3% of its gross domestic product, and it creates many jobs. But because they're so secretive about everything that they do and all that, it's hard to prove how much of that is true and how much they're just kind of inventing to make themselves look good. And I mean, certainly they are an important economic factor on the island, but also they're not completely fair to the government. Like, they pay barely any money to get water. Like the people there barely make any profit. The people who own this are billionaires, like they might as well share some more water with the country. And so through all this, questions arise, and I must say I didn't come up with these questions myself. I found them very interesting. They were written by Peter Gleich, and I got them off of sfgate.com off of his blog, and I think it was also posted in the Huffington Post. And so the questions are like, should they continue to do business in a country with a military dictatorship where local communities have little or no say in how local resources are exploited? Like, is it fair that the Fiji people do not have any say in this? Like, they can't say, don't want you taking my water, because the thing is, they're not that powerful, and the military regime supports it because most likely, I'm not saying this is true, but most likely they're getting money from the owners of FIJI Water so that the Fiji Water people can continue getting water from there. Second question, does their presence and economic strength in the country help prop up Fiji's government? Like, is that really true, or are they just so powerful that Fiji doesn't really have any say in it, and they can't really say, oh, I don't really want you guys here, like, leave, because they've tried to do that, and then the owners of the company, they were just like, oh, how about we do this and that, and then the government was just kind of like had to say yes, because, it was better than them leaving. And so how can the company claim to be socially responsible when they operate businesses in regions where political instability, government corruption, and a lack of transparency are prevalent, like Fiji? Like, Fiji isn't the only place where they have, where the owners of FIJI Water have companies. And it just makes one wonder, like, are they just exploiting these countries because they know that they're less stable than America or Europe or whatever? So, because they don't own companies in Europe or anything like that, because they know that they wouldn't be able to do much with it. And then, I mean, okay, granted, they do good stuff, like there's the Fiji Water Foundation, they sponsor education, they always give water to disasters like in Haiti and so on. They brought fresh water from Fiji for free, and I mean, they do try to give clean water to every Fijian out there, but still, 53% of the country has no access to clean water. And yes, they have economic contributions, so they do like create jobs and stuff like that, but how well do they really pay their workers, and how well are the hours and the factory settings and stuff like that? And yes, they do corporate giving in which Fiji Water employees are allowed to contribute in the communities where they live, but these are all good things, but there's probably also stuff that they're not telling us, because there's so many people have done research on Fiji Water, big newspapers and stuff like that, and no one really can find much good stuff about it except for what they claim, but they claim these things and we can't prove them. So that is a problem. So in my opinion, next time you go to the supermarket, don't buy Fiji Water. You don't want to support this company. Try your tap water, and if you don't like your tap water, buy a Brita filter or a bauble or any of those water filters that you can directly attach to your tap, or buy in a jug and filter through the water and stuff like that, because that is way better and cheaper, so much cheaper than going out and buying crates and crates of Fiji Water. I know someone who worked at P. Diddy's studio over the summer, and he was secretary assistant or whatever, and he had to run errands for whatever rapper came in to record or just hang out and do stuff, and most of them just always yeah, I want Fiji Water. And it's just kind of I feel like the main reason people want to buy Fiji Water is because of its name, and because when you buy it, it's like walking around town with a Louis Vuitton bag. If you walk around with a Fiji Water, people are like, oh, they probably got money because they can spend $8 on a bottle of water when you can buy the same amount of water for 50 cents. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of ridiculous to walk around with this stuff because you're just not doing the right thing for the environment or the world. And so that is my view on Fiji Water, and of course, as always, all of you are allowed to disagree with me. All of you are allowed to post mean comments towards me. Just know that I did a lot of research on this, and I firmly believe that what I have to say is right. And next time I go to the airport, I would rather go thirsty than have to pay $8 for a bottle of Fiji water. Just so you know, JFK Airport, get some other water